Okay, like I said, this guy was in Car World, and the channel used to be called Donut, and then now he made this video about skating, which is really interesting that I'm very curious to see. And this was what he referenced right now. What the heck? I don't know who this person is. 5 years ago.
What's up there?
Janoski, epically related. Okay.
Nike SB. Nike skateboarding.
Shane O'Neill. Ugh.
You might own a pair.
Oh, the my ones. That's the one I actually have.
You might own a
That's so funny that it's my one.
pair. You might own 5. You might own 25. And even if you don't,
actually
there's
own that
probably
one.
somebody in your life who cares way too much about sneakers.
He literally did call me out.
I'm gonna keep all the original boxes that the sneakers
I am
came
not a
in.
sneakerhead.
And even if most people who obsess over these shoes can't tell the difference between a kick flip and a no-comply 360 flip, nose manual
This guy
out,
skates.
This shoe
No
says-
way this guy skates. There's no way he didn't.
and a no-comply 360 flip, nose manual out. This
100% he skates.
and a no-comply 360
Non-skater
flip, nose
has
manual
never said
out.
that
This
in their life.
shoe-obsessed population of men is a direct result of the skateboarding division of Nike. Nike SB.
I gotta
It's
DM
one of
this
the
guy
most
too.
ubiquitous lineups of shoes the world has ever seen, and at the heart of it all, the SB Dunk, a shoe that pushed the boundaries of sneaker design, brought out wild collaborations, and helped sneakers become more than just footwear. They turned them into a canvas for creativity and culture. But how did Nike, a brand that failed at first to even get skaters on board, end up redefining not only skate
I can see boards in the background. Really?
but pop culture as a whole?
Where was Donut
This is
based out of?
everything you need to know about Nike SB.
Honestly, I never really liked Nike that much.
Nike was already a giant by the mid-90s. They had just about every major sport under their belt.
I was not really a Nike
baseball,
fanboy in my life.
Football.
Because I was
running.
just, I didn't care about normal sports or whatever. I was just thinking about skating. And in my era when I was growing up, Nike didn't exist. Nike barely started existing once I was already like an adult.
Football. You name it. If it had a ball, Nike was into it. By 1997, half of the athletic shoes sold in the US were from Nike. The swoosh was error.
Damn.
But in the world of skateboarding, Nike had about as much cred as Ralph Lauren does amongst goths.
Yeah, that's how I felt 100%.
Actually, have you ever heard of a double RL goth? Very common. Skating was all about
DC vid?
anti-establishment vibes, rebelling against the mainstream, and doing your own thing.
Whoa!
I mean, it's a bunch of boys and girls.
Damn, I did
rolling
not
around
think that was gonna
on
work.
Doors with wheels on them. It's a wild concept. You ever look at skateboarding and just think, like, what is that? It's gymnastics on a board with wheels on it.
This guy
So
100%
hard and
shreds.
so dangerous. It's like playing guitar that you have to be like athletic to do. Nike, on the other hand, was the exact opposite of dangerous athletic guitar. They were the definition.
It is a pretty crazy transition that they made. Especially like I feel like once you get older, you have more perspective, you know? Whereas like younger people, they only know what it's like to be 18 to 23 or whatever. They only know like 5 years of their adulthood. Whereas when you're in your 30s, you're like, whoa, I remember like 15 years ago, things were like this 15 years ago. So I feel like it is interesting to see this perspective right now, because just young skater Grom probably just said, yeah, Nike's the best team.
But corporate
And it
giant.
is crazy,
And the
like
last
how
thing skaters wanted was to be
the
seen
transition they
wearing
went on.
anything that felt remotely mainstream. This is the 90s.
99 cents.
I legitimately remember being kind of weirded out when I heard that Nike was getting into skateboarding.
Yeah, that was me
Nike
too.
thought that they could crack the skate market. And in 1996, they made their first attempt by launching the Nike skate line. And if you want to know why it didn't go well, you can start with the names of the models. Names like Snack.
I mean, that's not a skate shoe. eBay.
With a K. Chimp.
Oh, this is like a collector's magazine or something, maybe.
With an S in front of it. Chimp. And Chode.
What up, Suited Samurai?
There was really a shoe called the Nike Chode. And I'm pretty sure that Chode meant the same thing back then as it does now. Oh. Nobody in the boardroom was like, it's not even, doesn't even mean anything else. It's like a Nike executive heard a bunch of skateboarders talking like at a gas station. And it was like, oh, I heard one of them say chode. Maybe we'll call it that. Should we find out what it means? How? Well, we can.
Yeah, I thought chode like didn't necessarily have a sexual connotation. I just thought it meant like what Gia says, short and fat.
Ask them. What? Heavens no. Talk to teenagers? Are you kidding me? You're the scariest group of people on the planet. They might make fun of how I look. They see your weakness and they just dive in on it mercilessly. Now let's figure out how to sell them shoes. Chode it is. Chode it is. Chode, chode, chode.
I mean, I feel like that's more 2024 type marketing, calling it that, rather than back then.
A young Bam Margera was actually the very first rider on the Nike skate team.
Damn,
but
extreme young Bam.
Were so bad, he didn't even want to wear them. To fulfill his contractual obligations, he'd simply cut the Nike swoosh off of the chodes and then glue them onto his own shoes that he could actually skate in. That's how far off the mark Nike was. Instead of embracing Nike, skaters stuck with brands that they trusted. Vans, S, DC, America, Globe, DVS.
Globe was Australian and killing it.
These brands were...
It's kind of sad to see how much they've all fallen right now. America's basically dead.
Skaters
Globe's basically dead.
Trusted.
Osiris basically dead. Vans is really the only one that survived. S is like on the comeback, on the up, but still like very...
DC, America.
Even DC, what's DC doing these days? Lakai? No, Lakai is basically dead.
America.
Honestly, they're just all dead, apart from Vans and Nike. It's so and Adidas. It's like so hard to compete with
DVS,
Adidas and Nike.
Osiris.
But yeah, what I was saying earlier is the thing with DVS is I guess I already said whatever.
Brands were skate first and born from the same culture.
Nike
was seen
I guess they're on the up a little bit.
Attempting to jump.
I feel like back in the day, the shoe companies were kind of like this. Vans, S, Etnies, Lakai, they're all like this. Now it's like Nike, Adidas, everything else. And then like Vans, Nike, Adidas, everything else. Way down here. Way down. Whereas like they're up there and you can't really get in there. DC is doing well.
But Nike didn't give up that easily. In 2001, they tried again by buying out a small Portland-based skate brand called
was before my
Savier.
time.
Now the idea was simple.
This guy how does this guy know more about skating than me?
Maybe
what the heck?
They'd wear something from a smaller, less corporate brand. One that just so happened to be owned
I think
by
when it
Nike.
finally stuck, it was like, I think it was the third try. I think that's what he's going to say. I don't think it was the second. I'm pretty sure it was the third.
Much like Anheuser-Busch owns all of these small craft beer companies. Now, Savier would have access to Nike's cutting-edge technology, giving them a leg up in terms of performance. And they brought in a solid roster of skaters, including Stefan Janoski, Brian Anderson, Brad Staba, John Rattray, and Tim O'Connor.
I wonder what year this
Savier
is.
had a laid-back, irreverent attitude that theoretically resonated with skaters. They put out shoes with features like bottle openers built into the laces and ran marketing campaigns.
Does he skate? I gotta skate with him.
But
I was surprised to hear how he spoke about skating. I was like, damn, this guy definitely skates.
Caught on. their shoes weren't selling. And by 2004, Nike pulled the plug. Still, Savier was an important stepping
96.
stone. Nike learned from the experiment
2001.
about branding.
Yeah, see, this is
about
before my time because I'm only 10 years old at this time.
the culture and about the importance of building real credibility. And that
He
brings
doesn't
us
skate.
to
He
the
hosted a
moment when
car
everything
channel, bro.
changed.
The way he's talking,
Nike
he
SB
skates. I'm
cracks
certain.
the code. After 2 failed attempts, Nike was ready to give it one more shot. And in 2002, they made
video's
the move
formatted
that
like his old
changed
donut vids.
everything. They put Sandy Bodecker.
There's no way he can make this without being a skater, because even to get access to a skater that knows this, he has to be a skater almost.
Charge of launching Nike SB. Bodecker was a Nike veteran who joined the company in 1979 as a footwear tester and rose the ranks to help the company break into European soccer, i.e. football. If you're a soccer player like Jesse, then you get made fun of. But you also know just how massive Nike is in that sport. But skateboarding, this was going to be a different beast entirely. Bodecker
I'll
knew
DM
that
him
Nike couldn't
after
just
this.
waltz into the skate world
Chico
and expect
Brenes.
skaters to accept them. There was too
Young
much
Chico Brenes.
skepticism, too much bad blood from the previous attempt. So instead of throwing money at the problem, Bodecker
Zach
did
Job skates in a
something
few videos.
simple,
He was pretty good.
something
Damn.
I think
Alright.
a lot of us should do. He listened. He talked to skaters, to shop owners, to the people who actually lived and breathed the culture.
He became a skate fan first.
Oh yeah, this
and
was
then
the
built
video.
from there.
I clicked
I think
on
he
at the
probably
start.
read more Thrasher than me, which is awesome though, right? Because like, hey, if you're gonna be in part of skateboarding and want to be welcomed, like, you're gonna have to really know the depths of it, right? Not just, how can we make money on this?
There's no
Yeah,
magic bullet
exactly.
here, just honest conversations about what skateboarders wanted and what Nike could bring to the table.
It looked like he approached skateboarding by going, we can't get in there unless we do something for skateboarding, because the previous things looked like it was trying to take from skateboarding.
The big breakthrough was a shoe that Nike already had, that skateboarders already loved.
Janoski? But the
Talking
web.
about the dunk.
Oh yeah,
It was
web
originally
before that.
designed for basketball back in 1985, but skaters in the 80s and 90s had adopted it because of the durability and solid ankle support. So instead of creating an entirely
That's
different
actually
model,
kinda sick.
Bodecker and his team took the dunk and
This channel is
retooled
super
it
new, so collab would help
for
us. Yeah, I was talking a
speed.
little
They
bit about
beefed
how
up
I
the tongue,
knew
added
a little bit of the
padding
law.
for extra comfort, and used
People were
Nike's
comparing it to
Zoom
what
Air
happened with
technology
Braille.
for better cushioning when ollieing and such. The result? The SB dunk.
Damn, Dill's wearing it in
Nike
skate
wasn't
mall?
just throwing a product out there. They were bringing
Wait.
a beloved shoe.
But that, I swear that was in the DVS video. Am I wrong? I thought this clip was in, maybe it was before. But it's like, it can't be in the DVS video because it's Nike.
Nike wasn't just throwing a product out there. They were bringing a beloved shoe into the skate world with real updates that made it better for actual
His channel is The
skating.
Boys, yeah,
Nike didn't
exactly.
stop at just making the dunk skate friendly. They built a team of skaters that
Oh,
gave the
hot
brand
chocolate,
credibility right out of the gate. First 4 riders: Danny Supa, Gino Iannucci, Richard Mulder, and Reese Forbes. Each Danny Supa, Gino Iannucci,
Iannucci or Iannucci?
Richard Mulder, and Reese Forbes each got their own dunk colorway. All these shoes
Damn,
weren't
that's
just
actually a nice
performance-focused.
campaign.
This time, they were personal. They were expressions of the skaters' personalities and the culture that they represented. By tying the product directly to the skaters, Nike gave SB
No, it's not that, don't worry.
something the previous
It was just a bad
attempts
cable.
had seriously lacked. I mean, being connected to a guy is much more meaningful than having a bottle opener on your shoe. I don't even get that
heck?
one. Like, what? Thank God for Sandy Bodecker. Dude, he's like walks in, he's just like, wait, what? I don't know, man, we've tried everything. We named it after a wide wiener, and then we tried to give him a bottle opener on the shoe. And I don't know what they want. Whoa, what if we use this shoe that we already have, okay, and just like let skate, like 4 guys choose the colors? Yeah, I guess that would be a good idea. Should we put a lighter in one of them? No, I don't think we need to. Okay, I got an idea. What if we made all the laces out of gummy worms?
I like this format,
I don't
how
know
it's
what
like
these guys want.
half just
Free
giving the
haircuts?
information,
Every
but then
shoe
half
gets a
like
free
skits.
haircut. No, they hate haircuts.
It's like a good format.
What is skateboarding? If it's surfing for the street, shouldn't they even do it barefoot? What if we make the shoe look like a foot? Can we please just try naming it after our again? This video is sponsored by Factor. A lot of you guys out there are in the comments wondering why I'm looking so good. And hell, 50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month
Hit
of
him up
orders.
with the code.
I know that a lot of you are not eating breakfast. And then came one of the most pivotal moments in Nike SB's early success, the launch. Now, rather than coming in swinging its big old corporate chode, Nike SB went for a more low-key approach. They pulled up to the first ever action sports retail show, a crucial trade show for the industry, and I'm realizing is probably going to show up on this channel a lot. Well, they pulled up with just a small, humble booth with just one shoe, the Nike SB Dunk, and it worked. They ended up winning the award for Best Small Booth, which, for a brand like Nike, was unheard of. And honestly, if you think about it, kind of lame. I mean, that, like, a show like that could really change a company's trajectory.
Yeah, and it's like Nike
comes
wins.
In is like, actually, we're competing.
I guess
in
that respect though. If the best one is there, the best one should win.
But even though Nike probably crushed a few small businesses at that trade
no, 24 skateboxing 24 hours video isn't out yet.
Do quite a bit for
but
small
soon.
skate businesses.
I'm working
Focusing on local
now
skate shops rather than bigger retailers put Nike SB in the best place to reach skaters while supporting small businesses that were beginning to be neglected by the other current major players for skate shoes. Today, having a Nike SB account helps lend weight to a local store and may even help a store stay in business.
He knew the Dunk had value to collectors, and he was going to offer this product in a skate shop only, so the shop would benefit off the collectors coming in and buying it, and it would fund the shop for a month.
As Nike SB started to gain momentum, the team expanded, bringing in even more heavy hitters from the skate world, like Eric Costa.
That was, is this Yeah Right era? Yeah, I think.
And my buddy Steven Janoski. Each skater brought
that was
kind of
like newish Janoski footage, I feel like.
To the brand.
Skate
Hub. Perhaps the biggest coup for Nike SB came in 2004 when they convinced Paul Rodriguez to leave S.
I wonder how much he got paid. I wonder. It must have been a lot at the time.
That same year, P-Rod won
because it was so pivotal.
Gold medal, instantly cementing himself as one of the top names in skateboarding and giving Nike SB a massive boost in legitimacy. And then in 2005, just 1 year after joining Nike SB, P-Rod became the first skateboarder ever to get his own signature model from Nike. His line grew to include 10 models.
I think I've heard him talk about it actually on some podcasts. He said that like he would only do it if they would give him a pro model.
This moment wasn't just about sneakers.
Yeah, that's
it was about
iconic.
showing the skate world that Nike was committed to the sport at the same level that they were committed to their top athletes in basketball, soccer, and beyond.
They were treated like any other athlete in Nike. First class flights, really nice hotels.
It was like royalty. Like the way we were treated was like ridiculous. I felt like Andre Agassi.
Now, while the SB Dunk
that is cool. See, like that kind of stuff is cool in skating.
There were other shoes that made a major impact. Take Janoski's signature model. Unlike the tech-heavy shoes that dominated skateboarding at the time, Janoski's shoe was minimalistic, influenced by boat shoes.
But see, don't tell Grind King this.
It wasn't about the bells and whistles.
You don't need the tech. You just
design and versatility.
keep it simple.
These shoes were popular. Everyone had these, whether you were a skateboarder or not. My grandma had a pair.
It was really part of Stefan's plan to make that thing bigger than maybe what people saw in skateboarding ever before.
I mean, that's sick if it was a plan. I always kind of thought it was a
go to
fluke.
funerals in them, go to skating. I don't know, that's how good mine are. I don't even have any other shoes.
Now, for actual skaters, there is a strong
I think it was the
case
most-
to be made that the Janoski is even bigger and more important than the Dunk.
I think it was the best selling skate shoe of all time. Well, maybe not all time. It was definitely for a few years. Of recent time, I guess.
Go to any local skate spot and you're all but guaranteed to see at least one pair. Because
That's true.
skaters can be, let's say, reluctant to embrace new technology. And the Janoski has been the go-to now for 15 years. Outside of skateboarding, there's something I cannot emphasize enough, okay? Sneakers did not look like they do now before Nike SB. There were exceptions like the Dunks and Air Forces in the early 2000s from Concept Japan, which had wild colorways, but were exclusive to Japan. Car guys. But Nike SB took things to a whole new
Interesting.
level. They were early standout dunks, like Reese Forbes' denim SB dunk in 2002. Then in 2003, Nike SB dropped the
What do you think about
infamous
the
Heineken dunk.
Crew School
featuring
Vans? Canoe?
a
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know what that means.
Very similar
I only
to
skate
the
skate
colors
highs.
and logo of
Maybe I
a
should.
certain brand of beer. They pulled them straight off the shelves after a cease and desist, but that made them even more popular.
I buy clearance lol, and that's what I used to do as a kid. My one thing was like, I want a mid-top, and I would buy any cheap mid-top.
In 2005,
And then I eventually
designed by Jeff
settled on
Staples.
half caps.
The drop caused riots in New York City. This wasn't just another sneaker release, it was a full-blown cultural event. Nike SB continued pushing the boundaries with drops like the Freddy Krueger dunk, pulled
I don't understand
before
stuff like
the
this.
release after,
It's just a shoe. You
again,
either like it
legal
or
threats,
not.
making the few pairs that survived some of the rarest and most valuable sneakers the world
That's
has
way
ever
too
seen.
much.
And speaking of valuable, the Paris SB dunk featuring
Sneakerheads are so odd. Yeah, I didn't really get it.
by Bernard Buffet became one of the most
I
sought
feel like-
after shoes ever. And later skaters like my
feel like
friend,
collect, like,
Sean
literally
Ware, and
anything else.
cultural icons like my friend Magnus Walker also had their own special SB shoes. Nike SB didn't just change the way that skaters looked at sneakers, it redefined what a sneaker could be. Each limited drop felt like a new chapter in the SB story, and the scarcity of these releases only added to the hype, and hype there was. These are one of the biggest contributors to the fact that the word hype is used so much. Nike SB
I kind of thought he was
no
going to talk a
longer
little bit
just
more
for
about like Janoski
skaters.
and stuff.
It was for anyone
And
who
like a little bit
appreciated
about the
design,
failed
anyone
attempts.
who appreciated culture,
I mean, I guess he
anyone
did,
who
but
appreciated storytelling, all wrapped up into a pair.
because like
of
he better go
sneakers.
now
And
to
those are all
sort of
things
talking about like
that I hope
I don't
you
know,
appreciate.
Street League and X Games.
This is
and
a
stuff.
grailed among grails. This is a beautiful shoe.
Oh my god, that's my size. Paris SB is one of the rarest SBs ever.
I got the Grateful Dead right here. Special pair.
But just
I wonder
as
if
fast
Under Armour is
as
going to
the
release
hype
skate
had
shoes.
come,
Who owns Under
it
Armour?
began to fade by the early
I thought it was a big
2010s.
company.
Dunks were sitting on shelves, and skate shops that once
Did it
thrived
fade?
on SB releases were seeing fewer and fewer customers. It looked like the SB Dunk had seen its heyday.
But
in
see,
the
like I
late
think he's talking about two
2010s,
different things, kind of.
Something happened. The SB Dunk found a second life, this time through streetwear, influencers, and social media. High-profile figures like Travis Scott and Virgil Abloh began wearing SB Dunks again, reigniting interest in the shoe.
I mean, I
Travis
didn't know
Scott
about
even
this.
launched his own collaboration, and suddenly the SB Dunk was everywhere.
I felt like it was Janoski's shoe and just always
As
up
with
from
many
there,
things that
not like up and
resurfaced,
down.
The return of SB Dunk sparked mixed reactions. Some welcomed the comeback, while others saw it as over-commercialization, a reminder of how mainstream attention can water down what once felt authentic. Now this tension reveals a larger truth. When something underground goes mainstream, it's inevitable that
Janoski
it
changed the game?
It's the cost
I'm
of
curious, like, what was
exposure
his
and growth,
involvement
for
in the
better
shoe?
and
Did
for
they
worse.
just say,
And
"This is your
perhaps
shoe,
this is
here you
one of the
go,"
reasons
or
for
like
the
what
Dunk's most
actually
recent
happened?
slip from the top. It no longer serves the people that Nike served so well at the beginning. We've seen it happen across all kinds of different subcultures. Think of like punk rock, which began as an anti-establishment movement only to become a fashion trend sold in malls, or graffiti, once literally illegal street art, now a fixture on the walls of every tech startup's
Facebook
open concept offices.
pays them $50K.
What starts as niche and sometimes even rebellious often gets co-opted by the mainstream, influencing
It seems like time relevant right now. Eminem.
Some of its original
He's not quite got that same energy anymore.
Of influence. For a subculture to change the world, it has to evolve. And in that process, it risks losing a part of itself. The question is, how much can be given to the masses without compromising the core identity?
It's almost like things that are always on a cycle. Is it like it becomes cool, then it becomes too cool,
wider recognition.
and then it goes in a cycle like that.
They didn't just follow a trend
can't
or
just stay cool.
appropriate a culture. I mean, they did both of those things, but they helped shape how niche cultures intersect with the mainstream. While Nike's impact on skateboarding came with mixed feelings, it undeniably elevated the sport and gave it a stage that it had never
barely even
seen
mentioned
before.
Niger. I was there for those.
In the
Let's
Olympics.
go.
So while trends will come and go, the SB Dunk's popularity will rise and fall. But its legacy reminds us that subcultures have the
I feel like this video started really strong and then
change
kind of
and
fizzled a
shape
little
the
bit.
world.
But still,
And
this was
in a
sick.
world where things go global almost instantly, and we move faster
What?
and faster away
She
from
doesn't need to be in this
subculture
vid.
and towards a monoculture.
Get her out of the
Where will
Nike
things be
skateboarding
forged?
video. Come
Where will
on.
cool stuff bake?
She does not
It
belong
spends
there.
less time belonging to a few people and quickly belongs to everybody. I guess only time will tell. I guess eventually we'll just be eating dust and watching the Gray Channel. Yo, thanks for watching this video and supporting the channel.
Alright, I'm gonna DM this guy, but I think I have to go right now.